Welcome to Herbicide Insight Day. I'm Camille Lambert. I'm the field agronomist in Kentucky, Southern Indiana, and Southern Illinois. I'm standing in Effingham, Illinois today in front of our cover crop plot. And cover crops have become a more and more relevant topic because we're starting to combat more and more resistant weeds. And so we have to figure out in the long term how we're going to keep combating some of these really troublesome weeds, especially when water hemp, palmer, and some of those really small seeded broadleafs that are tough to control because they have such a broad emergence time frame. So today I just want to go over some basics with you guys, some things that you can think about if you want to start to incorporate cover crops on your farm. And one of the first things we want to talk about is biomass. So that's a very important thing to know about cover crops, especially if you're in a corn soybean rotation or if you're planting some of those fuller season hybrid corns. We need to talk about getting some early season growth before it gets cold so that you can suppress some of these winter annual weeds. So our cover crops are going to have that same time frame as those winter annual weeds, and if we can keep some of those from coming up, we can keep those suppressed. And then if we can talk about termination, if we can delay our termination and get some growth in the spring on our cover crops, it can suppress some of those spring weeds that start to pop up early in the season. So the goal with this study that I'm standing behind was to see if we could get away with one herbicide pass in season and suppress some of those really hard to control weeds, because the later we terminate these cover crops, the closer we're going to get to canopy closure. And if we can keep those weeds suppressed, we know we'll be okay. So we terminated these cover crops behind me, both at planting, which would be on this side of me, and then 21 days after planting over here. So you can tell we have a lot of height difference in our cover crop, which I think is another really important piece of the puzzle. As we go into planting season, we start to accumulate a lot more GDUs. And so we're gonna get a lot more growth during that planting time if we can delay our cover crop termination. So we've got several different cover crops, and we have 3 different herbicides that we sprayed today, but these are just some basic points that I think are important for you to know if you're starting to consider cover crops for your farm.